Hello brothers, my name is Edorf Bass, and today I am going to talk to you guys about the Season 11 balance changes that dropped on the 5th of May. Now, this video is going to be a little different than my other balance change videos. I'm going to try to do rapid fire because there are 11 cards in the balance change, and that is a lot. I think it's the most I've seen in a very long time, if not the most I've seen. So I did take notes from Orange Juice on one of his videos that he did, so I will make sure to credit him down in the description below. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this. So the Tornado is the first card we're going to be talking about, and it's going to get a complete rework. Its duration is going down by 50%, pull strength plus 100%, damage per second plus 100%, now damages buildings, and it will do 35% damage to buildings, just like any spell does. And it will deal the same amount of damage, which is 140, but it will do it in 2 ticks, and each tick will last 0.5 seconds and deal 70 damage per tick. The Royal Delivery, its damage is being increased by 27%, its damage is increasing from 318 to 402, and it will now one-shot bombers. Battle Healer, its hit points are being decreased by 10%. Its health is decreasing from 1584 to 1425. Most cards will be able to take her out in 2 less hits, but it is hard to tell because of those passive and active healing abilities that she has. The Baby Dragon, its hit points are being decreased by 8%. Its health is decreasing from 1024 to 957. Most cards will take it out in 1 less shot: Ice Wizard, Princess, Spear Goblins, Archer, etc. There are subtle changes, but will be rough over the period of a match. So, you're not going to really notice it on one-on-one interactions, but overall, in a long match, you're going to notice it, and it's going to be a little rough. But moving on, the Magic Archer, its range is increasing from 6 tiles to 7 tiles, and its hit points are being decreased by 10%. So the Valkyrie will now be able to kill the Magic Archer in 2 hits instead of 3. Mini P.E.K.K.A, its melee range is being reduced from medium to short. It will have the same range as skeletons. The P.E.K.K.A will be able to hit it now, or will get the first hit off of it, I should say, and it will solve 2 issues. 1, Mini P.E.K.K.A is dominating the meta, and 2, can no longer slice a passing Hog Rider from the bridge. Earthquake, damage is being increased by 11%, and its building damage is being decreased by 25%. So its damage is increasing on troops from 61 DPS to 68 DPS. So over the 3-second duration, it will now take out Ice Spirit and Heal Spirit. It will take out skeletons in 1 hit, finally, and it will be a positive trade for Skeleton Army, and it will work better with the Ram Rider and Hog Rider now, and it will take out 3 waves of Graveyard Skeletons. And the trade-off for this is that it will deal less damage to buildings, going from 244 DPS down to 204 DPS, which is down to from 612 or to 2612 from 732 overall damage. It will leave building cards with 120 more health, and compared to spawners, it's seen as a great buff, but not so much to other buildings. We will talk about spawners later on. The Goblin Cage. The Goblin Brawler damage is being increased by 6%. Its damage is increasing from 264 to 279. It will take 1 less hit to take out tanks. So the Goblin Cage is going to be more effective in taking out those Hog Riders, Giants, P.E.K.K.A s, Prince, Dark Prince. I mean, whatever tank that you need that Goblin Cage to stop, it's going to be able to stop it way better now. So honestly, it's worth it. The Goblin Hut. Now, the Goblin Hut's hit points are being decreased by 35%. Its health is decreasing from 1293 to 844. Units such as Musketeer, Princess, Electro Dragon, and Baby Dragon will take out the hut in 3 less hits. Weak swarms like bats, skeletons, and spear goblins will take out the hut in 7 less hits. Units with damage similar to Hog Rider will take out the hut in 1 less hit, and it will tank the same amount of skeletons as the Furnace does now. And speaking of the Furnace is next up. Its hit points are being decreased by 16%. Its health is decreasing from 1003 to 844, so it will share the same health as a Goblin Hut. It will take 1 less hit from medium range units, Electro Wizard, Knight, etc., and 2 less hits from light damage units, Spear Goblins, Ice Wizard, etc. It will still produce 6 waves of Fire Spirits, but taking 1 less hit from a Spear Goblin means potentially stopping a complete wave from coming out. And now moving on, the Barbarian Hut, last but not least, the beautiful Barbarian Hut. Its hit points are being decreased by 20%. Its health is decreasing from 1804 to 1452, so its interactions are going to be similar to the Goblin Hut. And this is a general note for all the spawners on the list. every one of these spawners will spawn the same amount of units over the same amount of time, but they are going to be more fragile, and you know, a spear goblin can pretty much stop one wave from coming out. So potentially it's going to be really hard for those for those spawner users to really protect those huts way better than they do. So now Seth, one of the game developers for Clash Royale, did put on his Twitter account a big multi-thread kind of explaining why they did the changes. So I'm going to be reading these straight off of his Twitter account, so I will leave the link to that account down in the description below so you guys can go check it out for yourselves. Now, so here's the notes on the Season 11. Like I said, it is a multi-tweet thread, so I'm going to be reading straight off of it. So we're wanting to protect Mini P.E.K.K.'s unique trait, which is its massive DPS, while nerfing its combat effectiveness. Lumberjack feels like the ideal power level, so we weakened Mini P.E.K.K.A and buffed Goblin Cage to even them out. So yeah, I mean, Lumberjack is pretty powerful, and so they're kind of wanting it to be similar, or the Lumberjack is kind of balanced, so they're wanting the Mini P.E.K.K.A to be more similar to that as well. The Battle Healer needed to be brought down, as her place in the meta is partially why the Mini P.E.K.K.A was so desired. The Baby Dragon is a tough nerf, but it felt like it would still be leading the meta even without Tornado. It's still a very hardy troop. There's no way it will ever completely disappear. I mean, the Baby Dragon is one of those cards, it's probably the best Splank in the game. Yes, I used Splank. Go watch OJ. But yeah, I mean, Baby Dragon is one of the best cards in the game. It's very solid. It's always been in the meta, and everybody's, has used it. And you're never going to take it down. I mean, Baby Dragon is still going to be there, so it's going to be all right. Now, by nerfing Earthquake's damage against buildings by 17%, but hitting all the spawners for the same amount or more, it's an indirect buff to defensive buildings like Inferno Tower or Cannon that have not been very viable. So it is a slight nerf to those as well, but it is really a great buff against spawners. So the Bomb Tower, though, is the lone exception in this, but the Bomb Tower does rely on Tornado's duration a lot, especially in graveyard builds. We are watching the Bomb Tower, but it'll probably lose more than it gains here. So the Bomb Tower could be coming up on a balance change soon. Who knows? To be fair, we are also watching Earthquake, though. Maybe it comes out too strong and needs to lose some of its crowd control. Those effects aren't very visible or necessary for its main purpose, which is taking out buildings. Side note, Royal Delivery plus Tornado is pretty reasonable. Now, Magic Archer, bringing its health down to 440, does have a few common interaction changes. The Knight and the Miner will be able to take it out in 3 hits instead of 4, but it is also part of making 440 a new standard number like 216, which is Princess, Dark Island, Rascal Girl, or 598, which is Muskie and the Wizards. Magic Archer Zappies recruits without the shields, and potentially new cards can be introduced at 440. 440 survives Log and Zap, but dies to Fireball, and now over-leveled Royal Delivery, 402 plus that 10% is just enough. Having health numbers standardized is, pretty exciting. So, that's, and he put on here, it's a little geeky, but, it is exciting. If Skeleton Barrel is too strong now, it could be dropped down to 440. So, Supercell, that's what they do. They like to make standard numbers for troops, and so for troops and cards and all that. So yeah, 440 is they're wanting to make that a new standard number for cards coming out. And finally, the spawners. So the Barb Hut was sneaky good before, high win rate on medium use rate, like 5 to 58%. But the Goblin Hut month is definitely not the ideal meta every month. We want spawners to generate value if you can protect them, not being tough blockers on their own. Furnace was definitely not shaking up the tournament scene, but it was overrepresented on mid-ladder and one of the most frustrating cards to deal with. It should be easier to deal with, and we are looking at ideas for Fire Spirits. So that is what Seth has, and that's pretty good reasoning for all those cards. So I guess I can't complain too much, but I am going to state my opinion for all of these like I do for all of my balance change videos. So for Tornado, do I agree with the Tornado's changes? Yes. I think it's going to be I mean, it really is way easier. You probably saw in the replays earlier. It's way easier to line your troops up for that Magic Archer or Executioner. And so with this, that's going to be really easier. And you can't really pull stuff, you know, on the to make it switch lanes when it's behind the King Tower, because you can activate the King Tower now with Tornado. So you gotta be, you know, more careful whenever you're playing it. So I think it's a really good trade-off for it. So do I agree with Tornado's changes? Yes, I do. Royal Delivery, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. I feel like the Royal Delivery should have been one-shotting bombers ever since it came out. I mean, that just feels, you know, reasonable, right? But yeah, so Royal Delivery, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Battle Healer, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Battle Healer is really ridiculous on her own with her healing abilities, and with that high health, you know, they really need to watch that. And so I, you know, do appreciate Supercell for watching out for that, you know, because of the heal spirit. Whoops. But anyways, Battle Healer, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Baby Dragon, do I agree with it? No, I do not agree with the Baby Dragon. I mean, Supercell said themselves that it was a hard choice to nerf the Baby Dragon's hit points, but you know, I mean, you're not going to be able to take out Baby Dragon from the meta. It's always a very solid card. I think they should have left it alone. I think the Baby Dragon was fine on its own. So, honestly, do I agree with these changes? No, I do not. Magic Archer, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. This is kind of like when the Fisherman got his range decreased and got it re-increased. You know, I hated it when they decreased it, loved them when they increased it. Same thing with the Magic Archer. So do I agree with the Magic Archer? Yes, I do. The Mini P.E.K.K.A. Do I agree with these changes? Yes, I do. I mean, honestly, it always was weird whenever a Mini P.E.K.K.A. could just hit the Hog Rider from the bridge, you know, when it passed by. So I mean, it always felt weird to me. Now it's going, you know, it's not going to be able to do that anymore. So do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Earthquake, do I agree with this? Yes, I do. Earthquake, and literally any card should be able to one-shot skeletons. So the reason why they did, you know, for them to do this is awesome. And, you know, it's a good trade-off for taking out, you know, some of its building damage. Because, you know, they need to make it balanced. So I feel like this was a good trade-off for it. So for, you know, the increased damage on troops. So good trade-off there. So do I agree with the Earthquake changes? Yes, I do. Goblin Cage, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Goblin Brawler is going to be able to take out giants and Hog Riders and Princes and Dark Princes and all those way easier than it could before. It'll take like one less hit. So honestly, I feel like this was needed. So do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Now for the Goblin Hut, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Goblin Hut's annoying, okay? Get it out of here. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it's just annoying. So Goblin Hut, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Furnace, do I agree with it? Yes, I do, actually. Furnace is a really powerful card anyways, because Fire Spirits are basically 2 Elixir Fireballs, is how I describe them. So to, you know, nerf this down a little bit, it's going to be easier to take it out, and so it'll be nice to live against Furnaces. So do I agree with the changes? Yes, I do. Now for the Barbarian Hut. Do I agree with the Barbarian Hut's changes? Yes, I do. Now, I did like it whenever they buffed it last, I think it was back in Season 8 when they buffed it. I did like the buff, but, you know, Barbarian Hut is a very powerful card because it can really help you in a pinch with Mega Knights, and that's, you know, something that I kind of face on a regular basis. So, yeah, I think it's going to be easier to take it out, or it's going to be easier to take the Barbarian Hut out. So, do I agree with it? Yes, I do. Now, that's it. That's all the balance changes. You know, I probably stuttered a lot, but, you know, I hope that you guys can forgive me for it. Look at that. Lord Brolo wants some Spear Goblin, or wants a Goblin Hut, so I'll give it to it. But anyways, if you guys need a clan, come on by Fisticuffs. We are currently full, but, you know, keep searching that clan tag. Eventually, you might find an opening. We do casual wars. you know, just don't be inactive and don't spam emotes in the chat, and you should be fine. So if that sounds like a fun time for you, then definitely come on by Fisticuffs if you can. And I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you do enjoy this kind of style of balance change video, you can tell me down in the comments below, and I might try this out more. I just really wanted to get through it quickly because I over-explain things. I suck at explaining, but, you know, I knew that this was going to be a challenge, so, you know, tell me how I did down in the comments below. But, of course, if you did enjoy this, make sure to slap that like button. Comment down below. Tell me how your day was. I would like to read my comments. And, yeah, go subscribe to PewDiePie. PewDiePie is an awesome creator. And I am the Dwarf Bass, and I will see you guys next time.